Hi everybody, Rad Mom here. Welcome back to the bedroom. We have something a little lighter on the channel tonight. We're going to be talking about traditional gender roles. What are they and why won't they go away? Really quick though, like the video if you enjoy my content, subscribe to the channel so we can all work together to bring feminism back into the real world. Oh, because we desperately need it. And tonight we're going to see some of the stuff that we're up against, and it does get a little bit scary. But as our guide along the way, we have a new face on the channel, Sybil Capert, who is so adorable.
They're gonna want to be in the kitchen now. They're gonna want to be making my sandwich now.
We're going to be examining traditional gender roles from her outside perspective of being a young lesbian woman. Let's go.
Feminists, when they hear people are being drafted for World War III.
And we're starting with a softball right out of the gate, aren't we? Oh boy. I promise this is a little bit lighter than the stuff we've been talking lately. Apparently there's a rumor going around that we're on the brink of World War III. And the more stressful the world becomes, the more ramped up the battle between the sexes gets, doesn't it? And if the stuff we're going to be examining here is any indication, we are in for a real ride.
What's funny about this is I've actually been on World War III women drafted TikTok, where it's all women making jokes about the draft being like, seeing this just makes me laugh because it's like, you have all these women that are like, here to serve and here to serve. And that's like what the women are making jokes about, but then you have the men being like, they're gonna want to be in the kitchen, aren't they? They're gonna go to the kitchen. You wanna know why? Because they have one joke. They have one fucking joke, and it's the kitchen. Making a sandwich, the kitchen. Doing the dishes, the kitchen. Their one joke is the kitchen. And then you have women being actually creative about their jokes when it comes to the World War III draft. So it's not that like making jokes about it is outrageous, because I've seen so many jokes and there's a lot of well done ones. It's the fact that the only fucking joke these men are making is they're gonna want to be in the kitchen now. They're gonna want to be making my sandwich now. Well, like, there's so many actually funny and good quality jokes out there about it.
I want to say that's probably because the women are actually thinking about the situation and trying to find humor in it, as opposed to the men who are taking it as an opportunity to say, see, doesn't being part of the world suck? The world sucks, right? Don't you wish you were at home right now? Wasn't feminism a bad idea because the world we made is so terrible? Boys, I think you're telling on yourselves again.
It just goes to show that they will never move past the kitchen joke. They will not evolve.
They're not going to move past the kitchen joke because it's not a joke, is it? The kitchen is symbolic of how women were chained to the home for so very long. Okay, we've talked about this a little bit on the channel here and there, where I really think that even feminism itself is just terrified to take on what the fuck it was that kept us chained to the kitchen all those years in the first place, and why we are so afraid, a lot of us, to even go in there.
You remember evolution? There was no evolutionary switch for the kitchen jokes. That's just how it is. Hello Chaos Gang and welcome back to my bullshit. My name is Sybil and today I'm here alone.
And now we're going to go back in time a little bit, because I stitched these together in an order that made sense for the topic. Look at her hair, isn't it cute? And we're going to see her opener, which is fun.
Hello Chaos Gang and welcome back to my bullshit. My name is Sybil and today I'm here alone. If you want any of Ali or I's socials, they'll be linked down.
I'm here alone? Oh my god, I have been hanging out with the pedophiles too long. Because I immediately took this as, my mom's not home. You want to come over? No. Like, I guess sometimes her girlfriend does a guest spot and, like, also has her own stuff that she does. So that's what that's about.
If you want any of Ali or I's socials, they'll be linked down in the description below. So today we're going to talk about my favorite thing, gender roles. You know, I love conforming to them. I love doing them.
I love how she's sitting here basically looking like Jamie Dodger, if Jamie Dodger had any real self-confidence.
I love being the pretty princess with the rich husband who's big and strong while I stay home and bake.
Thank you for the definition there, Sybil.
Okay, so disclaimer before we get into this, I actually do not care if you follow gender roles or your ideal life is following traditional gender roles. I couldn't care less if that's what you want for your life. My problem is when other people try to impose gender roles on other people.
Agreed. That is the issue here. But Why do people feel the need to do this? I've been heard to say many times that I feel it speaks to a deep-seated insecurity with your life choices, that you feel the need to insist everyone else live like you. But actually tonight we're going to get into something a little bit meatier than that.
You can live in your little gender role world. You can do that. But the problem becomes when you're sitting there upset that modern day feminists reject it, or people in general are starting to reject it. And the fact you're upset about that tells me that you care about what other people are doing a little too much. Live your little life and try not to be a bitch about it.
Sybil is so funny.
That's right. Today we're going over traditional gender roles TikTok.
Wow. I have a lot of people to disappoint today.
Yep, you're right about that one.
This says, waking up a pro-life Christian conservative anti-modern feminist homemaker who believes in and encourages traditional gender roles.
I just think these women that are anti-feminist are the ones that typically are privileged.
I love knowing that by saying that word, some of them just got triggered.
That's a little weird, right? That's like the trigger the libs meme, but in reverse. Yeah, it's a lot easier to tell people your lifestyle is easy to achieve when you didn't really work for it, isn't it?
And get to live a life. A lot of these disparities don't necessarily affect them. But that's a different video. It's not even this video. It's just hard to disconnect the anti-feminist girls from the hate gender roles girls.
I assume she means love. Anti-feminists love traditional gender roles. We have seen this a lot. I think it's really strange to identify yourself as an anti-feminist. You know, there's no such thing as an anti-civil rightsist. Those are racists.
Because they're typically the same person and they just intertwine, you know? This is them. Encourages traditional gender roles. Imagine somebody walking up to me and being like, grow your hair out, get yourself a nice man, stop with all of this lesbianism, okay? And go fucking cook. Oh my god, I like to cook already. Am I enforcing traditional gender roles on myself? Oh no.
Thank you, Sybil, for the lovely little illustration of just how stupid a lot of this shit is. Pointlessly gendered stuff is pointlessly gendered, and most shit that's gendered is pointlessly so.
And as you can expect, this is most of their content. I always feel like with these anti-feminist, traditional gender roles, aggressively conservative, like 80% of their content is them saying that they're those things, saying that they're a disappointment to the society because of it, but that they don't care, and being like, libs get owned. I feel like that's 80% of the content creators like this make.
If you're trying to say that they're doing it for the clout and they're doing it to virtue signal, I think you're probably right about that.
If a woman is paying as many or more bills
That's your roommate.
than you, and has shown her track history and her capability shows she's as qualified, if not more qualified than you to lead, is she still to be submissive just because you say that you're masculine and she is more feminine? Should she still, should she?
I mean, yeah, because at the end of the day, like I said, we had this conversation similarly. We touched base on it very vaguely yesterday. And my personal beliefs is your qualifications by society doesn't dictate your qualifications underneath this house. So just because you qualify to be a boss at your job doesn't make you doesn't fulfill the qualifications that you're a boss in this house and where
you said what you said.
In my house, right? Where I was getting to there. You don't have to stop me.
You don't have to stop me.
Right. Why are these traditional gender roles so pernicious? Why won't they go away? Probably because somebody has something to lose.
No, the girl's right. Say what you said. You said my house. Because you believe it is your house. Even if your partner is out there making more than you, paying some of the bills, you still, in your head, said my house. And you still think you're in charge because of your masculinity.
Why would masculinity qualify anyone to be in charge of anything? We are gonna get there.
This is something I've never understood about traditional gender roles, is the idea that one partner would be in control of the home. You know, this is my house, this is the man's house. Like, I understand in traditional gender roles, maybe the man's paying for the house, but in traditional gender roles, the woman is also making the home and taking care of the home and taking care of the kids and baking and cooking and doing all the home duties. And so why does one person get to say it's my house over the other?
That's a really good question. Sybil has just illustrated for us her very clear understanding of the delineation of these traditional gender roles. So she's not just talking out of thin air. She does have some understanding of the subject at hand, which is good. And you've just hit upon the classic quandary. If I'm here all the time and I'm the one who's in charge of doing everything around here, why exactly am I second banana?
If the man is paying for the home, technically, like, he pays for it, but without the wife doing all of the wifely duties, he's just working all day, coming home to a pigsty, buying McDonald's and passing out, following traditional gender roles, because then he can't do the cooking or the cleaning or any of that.
And this is the inherent flaw, the fundamental foundational flaw in complementarianism, right?
So then that house is not a home. So how is it his house instead of your guys' house? Anyways, that's just another rant about stupid things having to do with that.
I'm getting there, trust me. Where I live, this becomes mine. It's my kingdom.
I licked it, so it's mine. Like, does this man piss on a house and think he owns it then? Sir, that's called squatting.
And it doesn't really matter if you make $150,000 a year and I make 30, or I make $1 million and you make 5 million, or whatever, or you make $1 million and I make 50. It does not matter. I believe that this is what I believe, which not everybody's going to also agree. I believe that any man that's truly in his masculinity will always trump women who have masculine traits to the world. She will become feminine to him. This is
Well put. Is femininity inherently submissive? I submit that it is not. What is the most quintessential feminine role? The one that only a woman can do. That's mother, right? Is that a submissive role?
I love how he did this in the other video too, where he's always like, it's my preference, that is my opinion. And it's like, sure, you can think that way and you could feel that way, but it doesn't mean that it's not like a toxic mentality to want to trump a woman, bring down her masculine traits that she portrays to the outside world and make her feminine for you.
I would also like to say that while this could be his opinion, his preference, it doesn't matter, because when you're talking about trumping somebody's qualities, you're talking about changing them and directly making them different. So therefore, his opinion is that men should be trumping and changing women's qualities to fit their needs. So therefore, it affects a lot of different people.
Yeah, there's a word for that. It's called abuse. Thank you for laying that out for us the long way and allowing me to just tie it up for you. That's called abuse. His opinion is abusive. And calling it his opinion doesn't change that. It's still a destructive way of approaching relationships.
Yeah.
You don't submit to a person, you submit to an idea, you submit to a union,
The
you submit to
relationship,
love.
yeah.
You're not submitting to a human being. So when you don't, you submit to the process.
You guys, is it the Black Matt Walsh?
So I don't, because if you think it's submit as opposed to like I'm a human, submit to another human, you'll want to fight that because the ego is so inflated because of the internet, right?
What? You're gonna want to resist submitting to another person because your ego is inflated by the internet? What? I have literally heard the same argument about magazines and TV by older generations. This is not new. Oh my god, dude.
So you're not submitting to a person, you're submitting to a process, and the process is love.
Okay, that went weird. It feels like when people are just talking and not really making a point.
No. I think he's being so manipulative there, right? It's a bait and switch. Oh no, you're not submitting to me. You're submitting to love. You're submitting to biology. You're submitting to, gosh, these are some familiar talking points, aren't they?
First of all, you don't submit to love, you grow love. I don't really think it's egotistical to not want to submit to your partner and let them be the authority. I feel like a partnership should be equal. All right, continuing on.
So then I'll tell you why.
Okay, and this dude, this is where it's gonna get a little heavy for a minute, but he's about to tell us why.
The reason that you must be submissive is because everyone has their roles and the roles don't come out of thin air. The roles come directly out of biology.
So bereft of the ability to invoke God, they invoke biology. Okay, either way, this shit is supposed to be built in. These traditional gender roles are just built into us as the creature that we are. And how is that supposed to work exactly?
And let me show you why you are submissive. If I was there right now, I could make you submit.
Excuse you?
You ain't even got to take the option. I'll make you submit.
Oh my God, this girl's face listening to this man say this garbage. And this is why I do what I do.
And here's the difference. You can never flip the script and make me submit. You are designed weaker.
Is that so? You want to talk about design? Whoever it is designed you, put your genitals dangling right out in front there. Like some kind of off switch or something. You try and make me submit, I'll get down on my knees. But you're not going to like what happens.
You shall be dominated. And when you're unruly the way you are right now,
you believe that.
That's why you will never get a man who is a high earner, because he doesn't want to deal with an unruly woman. And I say this because I love you and I want the best for you.
There, she has it labeled as manipulation 101. And like, obviously a dude like this is manipulating right out the gate. Every word out of his mouth is trying to get you to agree with him. He's not explaining anything. This is not descriptive. This is prescriptive. Right? He's trying to tell you how it is, not describe it for you.
And you're a good-looking woman, you can achieve so much, but that mouth ain't good looking.
I mean, I love how his face is like right up in the camera too. Just his body language says it all.
When you think that you can compete with a man and not submit, you might as well get into a relationship with a woman.
Oh no, not a relationship with a woman. Wait a minute, dude, isn't that what you want?
Feminists destroyed in gender roles debate. At what point did he destroy her? The part where he basically threatened violence by saying, I can show up and force you to submit and do what I want? Is he really a SoundCloud rapper? Got it, understood. When a SoundCloud rapper is telling what looks to be a beautiful, intelligent woman that she cannot get a man, and especially not a high-earning man at that, we have a problem.
Actually, I am curious about that. Under what circumstance did this occur? Why is this woman listening to anything this man is saying?
So, one, you can't even talk from the perspective of that high-earning man that you're saying she can't get because you haven't even become that man. Second of all, you're saying she's looking for that high-earning man when she herself could be that high-earning woman.
Not if it's World War III and everybody gets drafted, right? Then we're going to want to be back in the kitchen.
I know I touched on this a little bit, but the fact that he goes straight to threats, he goes straight to very, very severe, like, I could be there right now and I could make you submit, basically threatening violence or insinuating violence and possible SA.
Again, you want to talk about who is designed weaker? Who the fuck gives birth? Who the fuck is physically capable of creating another human being? Who the fuck has their most sensitive bits just dangling out there in the wind? Y'all can't pretend to tell me that you're not sensitive about that.
So, are we really boasting domestic violence and SA as male empowerment here? Are we doing this? Is this happening?
Yes, that's what's happening here. And it is fucking disgusting. But this is why this shit perpetuates, because some men have this thought in their mind that because they are physically stronger in the moment than the woman in front of them, that gives them the privilege and the right to beat the shit out of her, should the mood strike them. I have bad news for you guys. That does not follow.
And there are a total of 13,000 comments when the video itself only has 25k likes. That alone should tell you that this is really fucked up and also not true.
I'm really glad these ideas are apparently not terrifically popular on TikTok, but like, we know how this goes. That just makes them the scrappy underdogs in their own minds, right?
I feel like there's more to break down with that video, but it's just so disgusting that I kind of just want to move on, so I'm gonna.
And I hope that I have gone some way to elaborating a little bit more on that. I feel like that man represents possibly the darkest undercurrent of some of the stuff that we are up against. Why was that woman listening to him? Why on earth was he given the platform, given the opportunity to say that shit to her? Why on earth was she asking him? That man doesn't even know what a man ought to do. Why in the fuck would he know what a woman ought to do?
Okay, this next girl, oh my god, I remember downloading these ones. I'm gonna play 3 of her videos for you.
I'd like to start a petition to bring back this move. It's the only one I can do, thank you.
You're right, it is. Ooh, 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 ooh. I think we might have a trans woman on our hands here. I think this one's a boy, actually. And the reason he can only do traditional gender roles is because outside of a dress, if he wears pants, he's going to look like the boy that he is.
It is, in fact, the only one she can do.
I'd like to start a petition to bring back this move. It's the only one I can do, thank you.
Oh, we're aware, we're aware.
I may be totally off base here, and I'm clocking it based on the voice, so like, for all I know, this person is like fucking lip syncing something. I don't fucking know, because I don't do TikTok, okay? I have too much other stuff to do, but like, here, the body and the dress. Okay, this person doesn't have a female figure. And I'm not trying to make fun of anybody's body here. But if this is the case, then this is a whole different thing. This is a very dark rabbit hole, right? Because why in the fuck would a trans woman want to bring back traditional gender roles, aside from being crazy? Because then he'll get to be forced feminized by the entire world.
Guys, I think it's the only move she can do. Once again, do not care if she lives her traditional gender roles lifestyle. Issue is she's saying, we need to bring this back. We have to be supporting traditional gender roles again. Bring it back. Honey, it didn't go anywhere. If you are living traditional gender roles yourself, it's still here.
You're right. It didn't go anywhere. And here's the part where I get to submit my theory for why these things don't go anywhere, for why these things will not go away. Which is that I accidentally found myself pregnant in my mid-20s and decided I didn't want my first act as a parent to be killing my child, so I guessed I was going to have a baby. And wouldn't you know it, that kind of thing is a lot easier with help. I had help making the baby. It just kind of fell into this sort of structure in that situation. Outside of that situation, why exactly anybody wants or needs to have their life take on this structure, I'm not sure. So there are reasons why these traditional roles won't go away. It's because they are based in a certain material reality that is not a factor for everybody. But it does happen.
If other people are still living the traditional gender roles lifestyle, it did not go anywhere. It may be happening less. Who fucking cares? Because at the end of the day, you're not wanting to know who's cooking and who's cleaning and who went to work that day. You could find a man that wants to enforce those traditional gender roles. In fact, we saw two men that want those traditional gender roles.
And see, that's kind of the issue there, isn't it? That neither of those guys is going to be interested in him because they want women.
It's the fact that you're like, bring it back. No, no, no. I'm not gonna live my life like that. And the fact that you have the audacity to say that we need to bring it back and live like that because that's how it should be is just haberdash. Is that from iCarly? I feel like that was a haberdashery, that is from iCarly.
That's so cute. I know I referenced things that age me too. But, this girl is probably almost 20 years younger than I am, and I just think she's so adorable.
Haberdashery, that is from iCarly. It's a real word, but,
We don't know what it means. It's men's hats.
Also, being like, traditional gender roles are good. They could be good for some people who want to live like that, but traditional gender roles are good as a general statement. They are not.
Why does everyone have to adopt the same lifestyle? I'm still not really grasping this.
Traditional gender roles are what keep people from exploring different options and facets of their life.
A whole lot of the world is pointlessly gendered. Gender roles are based in a material reality that has nothing to do with a whole lot of the rest of life.
Saying traditional gender roles are good as a blanket statement means that it would mean we wouldn't have women in psychology. Psychology was male dominated. They never ran tests on women. So we are just now really starting to see what autism looks like in women. How anxiety and depression can present different in women. Like, these are things that we're still learning about because traditional gender roles kept women out of the workforce and kept them out of psychology. So therefore studies were only done on men by men.
That's right. I love that she went there. And I've said this before, female psychology exists. I wrote a whole blog post about it a while back. These days we are told that it doesn't because men and women are just the same, right? Or we are interchangeable. Or you yourself can kind of pick and choose, you know, different aspects of your personality that are masculine and feminine. And that part is true because a lot of the world is pointlessly gendered.
Same goes for healthcare. Traditional gender roles being good for yourself, awesome. Being good for the world, no. Somebody said, girl, it's not 1940, and she said, I wish it was. Just quickly throwing things on the screen that tell you why you don't want it to be 1940. No 1940.
Mwah.
She obviously makes more arguments. I feel like it's just not the video for it. Feminism is a scam, and you're a scab.
Unless she's a boy. But yeah, that's a fun way of putting it, that the trad wives are scabs. In the battle of the sexes. I don't know. It's a bit aggressive. But it's funny.
It is possible to serve your partner when you have a full-time job. He will be forced to do household chores, which should be your responsibility. As a woman, you should want to carry out these duties because they will give you more fulfillment than any job will.
Anti-feminist classic. Sybil, would you please?
Stop what you want to do with your life for a relationship.
Thank you, dear.
I hated this.
I'm so sorry. This is pretty much your garden variety bullshit. Anti-feminist. We already have a name for that. It's called misogyny.
I'm gonna be honest, it got a lot worse than I thought it would. Like the short TikToks, you know, I saw them, or I saw most of them when I was downloading them, because I like to give a little bit of like a pure reaction to you guys. So I usually download them, wait a couple days before I film these videos. But I will say, the video that was like 3 minutes long of like the podcast and the guys and the girls sitting down and talking, I only watched the first 5 seconds of that when I downloaded it because I wanted it to be a pure reaction. And what the fuck?
So that was a pure reaction. That poor girl, left look on her face was genuine. Oh my god. I felt that in my heart. She doesn't know how dark this gets. Which I believe, because why would she? I think she's a very intelligent young woman who has a pretty good lay of the land in front of her from a fairly safe vantage point.
And I think another thing that I struggle with when I think about that is that you know they're gonna enforce it on their children, and then if their children don't follow those strict gender norms based on, you know, what they're saying to the internet, it's just gonna be a shit show.
That's right. Because everyone is gender nonconforming. Because most of the world is pointlessly gendered. Men and women can both do most things. But these traditional gender roles just won't go away because they are based in a very stubborn material reality that is the reproduction of the species. Outside of that, they really don't apply to very much. So everyone is gender nonconforming because everyone has different talents and abilities. Nature doesn't give a shit about whether you think something is masculine or feminine. These people are essentially dooming their kids to a lifetime of torment, no matter who they are.
I'm here for you guys and I love you guys. I'll be your fucking dad. Daddy Sybil. Don't call me that.
I won't. But, did we just unironically make a joke like that? How old are you?
Well, thank you guys so much for watching. I genuinely appreciate it. Like I said, if you want any of Ali or I's socials, they'll be down in the description below.
This has been our exploration of traditional gender roles with Sybil Capper. And I just thought she was such a breath of fresh air, you know, touching on some really meaty topics, some really deep stuff, and wading into some dark waters there for a little bit. Make you submit? Really? You think that's how that's meant to go, do you? I don't think they need to test it out, but I just hypothesize that might not be how that goes. Women just don't really submit very well, do we? Because if we did, we wouldn't still be having this stupid argument. I have been Rad Mom, fighting the good fight for you. Thank you so much for joining me to chew a little bit on traditional gender roles. Join us at the top of the hour for the live stream and discussion, where we can chew the fat a little more. Please like the video if you did. Subscribe to the channel so we can all work together to bring feminism back into the real world. Because we desperately need it. Thank you so much. I'll see you next time. Bye.